Welcome to Lesson 50 of the Workbook for Students. We've reached a significant milestone, and today's lesson marks it beautifully. I am sustained by the love of God. This lesson goes straight to the heart of what keeps us trapped in fear and what can set us free. It's about recognizing what actually sustains us versus what we think sustains us. And the gap between these two is where most of our suffering lives. The lesson opens with a remarkable claim. This idea is the answer to every problem that will confront you today and tomorrow and throughout time. Every problem, not some problems, not the spiritual ones. Every single problem you'll ever face has the same answer. You are sustained by the love of God. That sounds too simple to be true. Our problems feel so varied, so specific, so complex. How can one answer possibly address them all? Today's lesson is going to show us exactly how. Let's read today's lesson together. I am sustained by the love of God. Here is the answer to every problem that will confront you today and tomorrow and throughout time. In this world, you believe you are sustained by everything but God. Your faith is placed in the most trivial and insane symbols: pills, money, protective clothing, influence, prestige, being liked, knowing the right people, and an endless list of forms of nothingness that you endow with magical powers. All these things are your replacements for the love of God. All these things are cherished to ensure a body identification. They are songs of praise to the ego. Do not put your faith in the worthless. It will not sustain you. Only the love of God will protect you in all circumstances. It will lift you out of every trial and raise you high above all the perceived dangers of this world into a climate of perfect peace and safety. It will transport you into a state of mind that nothing can threaten, nothing can disturb, and where nothing can intrude upon the eternal calm of the Son of God. Put not your faith in illusions. They will fail you. Put all your faith in the love of God within you, eternal, changeless, and forever unfailing. This is the answer to whatever confronts you today. Through the love of God within you, you can resolve all seeming difficulties without effort and ensure confidence. Tell yourself this often today. It is a declaration of release from the belief in idols. It is your acknowledgement of the truth about yourself. For 10 minutes, twice today, morning and evening, let the idea for today sink deep into your consciousness. Repeat it, think about it, let related thoughts come to help you recognize its truth, and allow peace to flow over you like a blanket of protection and surety. Let no idle and foolish thoughts enter to disturb the holy mind of the Son of God. Such is the kingdom of heaven. Such is the resting place where your Father has placed you forever. The practice structure is clear. 2 10-minute periods, morning and evening, where we deeply contemplate this idea, plus frequent repetitions throughout the day. This is a declaration of release from idols and an acknowledgement of truth. Now let's look at what makes this lesson so confronting and so liberating. The text doesn't pull any punches. It says directly, in this world, you believe you are sustained by everything but God. Think about what you actually rely on to get through your day. Your job, your bank account, your health insurance, your relationships, your education, your skills, your appearance, your reputation. These feel like what keeps you safe, what makes your life possible. The lesson lists some specific examples: pills, money, protective clothing, influence, prestige, being liked, knowing the right people. And then it adds, an endless list of forms of nothingness that you endow with magical powers. That phrase is key. We endow these things with magical powers. We believe they can do what they cannot actually do. We think money can buy security. We think the right connections can guarantee success. We think being liked protects us from harm. We think our carefully constructed image shields us from vulnerability. These aren't just practical tools we use. They're objects of faith. We trust them to sustain us. And according to the lesson, they are the most trivial and insane symbols. They are replacements for the love of God. Here's what the lesson is revealing about our psychology. We've taken the faith that belongs to God and transferred it to things that have no power to actually help us. We've made idols, not in the sense of literal statues we bow to, but in the sense of things we believe will save us. And why do we do this? The lesson says these things are cherished to ensure a body identification. We cling to them because they reinforce our belief that we are bodies, that we are vulnerable physical beings who need external protection and support. When you believe you're a body, you need medicine to keep the body healthy. You need money to feed and shelter the body. You need other people's approval to ensure the body's social survival. You need status to protect the body from being dismissed or harmed. It all makes perfect sense from that framework. But the Course is saying that framework itself is the problem. These things are called songs of praise to the ego because they celebrate and reinforce the ego's version of reality. They say, yes, you are small and vulnerable and dependent on external circumstances. And that feels true. It feels like obvious fact. The lesson's response is stark. Do not put your faith in the worthless. It will not sustain you. These things we rely on so completely are worthless in terms of actual sustenance. They might provide temporary relief or temporary advantage, but they cannot give us what we're really seeking, which is safety, peace, and certainty. Only the love of God can do that. And here's what's radical. The love of God will protect you in all circumstances. Not in ideal circumstances. Not when you've got everything lined up just right. In all circumstances, including the ones where you have no money, no influence, no prestige, no one to turn to. The lesson describes what God's love does. It lifts you out of every trial. It raises you above all perceived dangers into perfect peace and safety. It transports you to a state of mind that nothing can threaten, disturb, or intrude upon. Notice this is about a state of mind, not a change in external circumstances. God's love doesn't necessarily give you more money or better health or fixed relationships. It gives you something far more fundamental, a place to stand where none of those things determine your well-being. So how do we actually practice this? The formal practice periods are substantial, 10 minutes twice today, morning and evening. This isn't a brief check-in. This is deep contemplation. Find a quiet place. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Say the idea. I am sustained by the love of God. Then let it sink deep into your consciousness. What does that mean practically? You're not just mechanically repeating words. You're holding this idea in your awareness and letting it reveal itself to you. Repeat it slowly. Think about what it means. Let related thoughts arise. Related thoughts might be, what would it feel like to truly be sustained by love? What would change if I really believed this? What am I currently trusting instead of God's love? What would I have to let go of to accept this fully? The lesson says to allow peace to flow over you like a blanket of protection and surety. This is beautiful imagery. You're not working up to peace. You're allowing it to cover you. It's already there. You're just opening yourself to receive it. The instruction is also clear about what not to do. Let no idle and foolish thoughts enter to disturb the holy mind of the Son of God. During these 10 minutes, you're not entertaining the usual mental chatter. You're not planning, analyzing, or problem-solving. You're resting in the truth of who you are. This might feel challenging. 10 minutes is a long time to hold your attention on one idea. Your mind will want to wander. It will bring up all sorts of things that seem urgent or important. That's the idle and foolish thoughts trying to intrude. Gently bring your attention back to the idea. Throughout the day, repeat this idea frequently. The lesson says to tell yourself this often, that it's a declaration of release from belief in idols. Each time you say it, you're choosing differently. You're choosing to place your faith where it actually belongs instead of in things that cannot help you. When you're worried about money, repeat, I am sustained by the love of God. When you're anxious about what someone thinks of you, repeat it. When you're concerned about your health, your safety, your future, repeat it. You're not denying the practical situation. You're shifting where you place your fundamental trust. This is incredibly practical. You're going to face situations today where your usual response would be to scramble for control, to try to manage outcomes, to rely on your own resources. Instead, you're learning to recognize that there's a deeper resource available, one that doesn't depend on circumstances working out in your favor. What might you discover as you practice today? First, you'll probably become more aware of how much faith you actually place in things other than God. You can't change a pattern you don't see. Once you see how much you're relying on idols, you can begin to make different choices. During the 10-minute practice periods, you might encounter resistance. Part of your mind doesn't want to believe that God's love is sufficient. It wants to maintain its attachment to the familiar securities. That's normal. Keep practicing anyway. You might also experience moments of genuine relief. When you really contemplate being sustained by love that's eternal, changeless, and forever unfailing, something relaxes. The constant vigilance that comes from trying to maintain security through your own efforts can momentarily ease. Some people find that this lesson brings up grief. Grief for how exhausting it's been to try to sustain yourself through things that can't actually do it. Grief for the years spent chasing after securities that were never going to deliver what you hoped. That's okay. Let the grief be there. It's part of releasing the old way. You might notice that when you repeat the idea during difficult moments, it creates space. You're still dealing with the practical situation, but you're not completely identified with it. There's a part of you that remains untouched by the apparent problem because you're remembering something true. The lesson promises that through the love of God within you, you can resolve all seeming difficulties without effort and in sure confidence. This might sound impossible, but notice it says seeming difficulties. What if the difficulties themselves are part of the illusion? What if from the perspective of being sustained by God's love, they're not actually problems at all? This doesn't mean you become passive or irresponsible. It means you stop treating every challenge as a threat to your survival. You stop believing that your well-being depends on controlling outcomes. You learn to rest in something that circumstances can't touch. Lesson 50 is offering you a radical shift in where you place your trust. For most of your life, you've been taught to rely on external things. Get a good education, earn money, build relationships, take care of your health, manage your reputation. These aren't bad things, but when they become what you believe, sustains you, they become idols. The truth is simpler and more reliable. You are sustained by the love of God, not by your bank balance, not by your achievements, not by how many people approve of you, by love itself, which is eternal and changeless and cannot fail. This lesson calls itself the answer to every problem. That's because every problem is fundamentally the same problem. You've forgotten what actually sustains you. You've placed your faith in things that cannot help you. And when those things fail or seem insufficient, you suffer. The solution isn't to get better at maintaining your idols. It's to stop relying on them and remember what's actually true. You are held in love. That love is within you right now. It doesn't come and go based on your circumstances. It's the foundation of your existence. The practice today is about training yourself to remember this. The 2 10-minute periods are where you go deep, where you let this truth sink in beyond intellectual understanding. The frequent repetitions keep you connected to it as you move through your day. This is described as the resting place where your Father has placed you forever. You're not trying to create this place. You're not earning your way into it. You're already there. You've always been there. You're just learning to recognize it. As you practice today, be honest with yourself about what you're actually trusting. Notice when you're placing faith in the worthless. Notice when you're treating money, status, approval, or any other external thing as if it has the power to sustain you. And then, gently, return to the truth. I am sustained by the love of God, not by what I can achieve, not by what I can control, not by what I can accumulate, by love that existed before this world, that will remain when this world is gone, that holds me now regardless of what appears to be happening. Give yourself those 2 10-minute periods, morning and evening. Really let this idea work on you. Don't just think about it abstractly. Feel what it would mean to be completely sustained by love. Feel how that would change your relationship to everything that currently worries you. And throughout the day, keep returning. Keep declaring your release from idols. Keep acknowledging the truth about yourself. You are not the small, vulnerable, dependent creature the ego says you are. You are the holy mind of the Son of God, sustained by love itself, resting in peace that nothing in this world can disturb. This is the kingdom of heaven, not somewhere far away, right here, right now, in the recognition that you are sustained by the love of God. Until next time.